In today's lecture, now we will solve some numericals related to our vertical curves, because now we are in a position that we have understood all the theory, or rather you have understood all the theory, whatever are the concepts that we use for designing a vertical curve. It may be a summit curve or it may be a valley curve. So in any case, we have seen the theory, the design aspect, and how you find out the length of this vertical curves. Okay. So designing is mainly the calculation of the length of your vertical curve. So we will see 3 to 4 numericals related to this section. So the first numerical, it is related to designing of a summit curve, and it's a straightforward one, that a vertical summit curve, it is formed at intersection of two gradients. So they have given n1 and n2. One is plus 4%, another is minus 6%, and you have to design the summit curve so as to provide a stopping side distance. Now, if you recall the theory related to summit curve, so summit curve we had designed, or we have seen the design is based on two things. Either it is based on SSD or it is based on OSD, okay, the stopping side distance or the overtaking side distance. So here they have clearly mentioned that you have to design this summit curve for stopping side distance. So this is what you have to look out for in the numericals, that if in the examination they have given that design the summit curve for SSD or OSD particularly, so you have to only use those formulas and those cases, and no need for other things. So now in this case, they have asked only for SSD, so we don't need the formulas or the conditions for OSD, overtaking side distance. But in case if they don't specify, they just say that design the length of summit curve, then we have to go for the formulas for both the things, that is SSD and OSD, and then whichever is the greater one, you have to take that or adopt that as a design length. Okay, so the next thing that they have given, it is the design speed, that is 60 kmph, and whatever is the data that you require other than this, you can assume it. Now again, by assuming, we know that it's not just a random assumption, we have to take some standard values here. So starting with the given, they have given the gradients. N1 is 4% because it's a summit curve, so you have a up gradient followed by a down gradient, okay, and then you have a summit curve in between. So N1 is 4%, N2 is minus 6%, and design speed is 60 kmph. So from this N1 and N2, what you can find out is the deviation angle N, and this we have seen that deviation angle, it is nothing but the algebraic difference of your gradients. So here the gradients, they are given percentages, 4%. So that's N1. So it will be N1 minus of N2, because your N2 is nothing but a down gradient, and down gradient, it is having a negative sign. So simply just I've converted the percentage into decimal. So 0.04 minus of minus 0.06. So you get N, or the deviation angle, as 0.1. So it's important in all the numericals related to vertical curves, it may be a summit curve or it may be a valley curve, you have to take the values of N in decimal, or either you can, if you don't want to convert it in decimal, you can keep it in fraction as well. Okay. So instead of writing 0.10, I can simply write 1 upon 10 as well if you want, but it's always good to convert it into decimal. Otherwise, you can keep it in fraction also. Okay. Now coming to the assumptions. Now, as you know that what they have asked is we have to design the summit curve for stopping side distance. So they have not given SSD or the stopping side distance. So obviously you have to find out SSD, and SSD, if you recall the formula again from the side distances, so it's speed into reaction time plus V square upon 2GF, that will be your braking distance, and this V is in meter per second. If you want it in kmph, so it's 0.278 VT, sorry, V plus that formula. Okay. So for that, what we are going to need is this reaction time T and this coefficient of longitudinal friction. So that will be our assumption that reaction time is the standard one that we know for IRC recommendation. It's 2.5 seconds, and coefficient of longitudinal friction, it's 0.35. Generally, it's 0.35 for any value of speed greater than 60 kmph or so. So from that, I've taken this assumption. Okay. And again, if you recall the formula for summit curve, so you require two parameters, that is the capital H and small h. Capital H is the height of eye level of the driver. So that again we have a standard value of 1.2, and small h is the height of the object above the road surface. That is also a standard value. We are assuming it as 150 mm, that is 0.15 meter. Okay. So these are our assumptions, and this is the given. So now we are in a position to go ahead with the formula. So first of all, we need to find out the SSD, stopping side distance. So this is the 0.278 Vt plus V square upon 254 F, and then this I have adopted this formula because I want to directly use the value of speed in kmph. So just substituting the values, V value is 60 kmph, T we have assumed reaction time is 2.5 seconds, and the coefficient of longitudinal friction, it is 0.35. In V value is, sorry, it's 60 kmph over here, not 50. Okay, so you get these values of SSD, that is lag distance is 41.7 and stopping or braking distance is 29.15, and you get SSD value as 70.85. You can just cross check this value because now there was a typographical error. I hope it was only a typographical error and the calculation is correct. So you can just cross check this value, whether it's 29.15 or it's something greater than that. So you get SSD. Now once you get this SSD, now we can go for the design of summit curve. And in summit curve also, in SSD, you know that you have two cases. Either the length is greater than SSD, length of summit curve is greater than stopping side distance, or length of summit curve it is less than stopping side distance. So how we go with the numerical or design is, first we simply start with any of the one assumption. That let's start with assuming length of summit curve is greater than SSD. Okay. So for that we have this formula ns square upon 4.4, and this 4.4 it came because we have assumed the standard values of h, capital H and small h. Capital H is 1.2 meter and small h it is 0.15 meter. Okay. So these values we have adopted, so that's why we are directly taking the formula of L is equal to ns square upon 4.4, and just substituting the values, whatever is the stopping side distance we have got here, so the same is the value we are substituting here. N is the deviation angle that we found out in the last slide. So by that we get the length of summit curve as 114.08. Now we started with the assumption that L is greater than SSD. So here we are getting value of L is 114, which is greater than this SSD value 70.85. So obviously whatever is our assumption, so it's correct. So we can go ahead with this value itself. So you will be providing a summit curve which is of the length 114.08, or you can round it up to also 115 meter. Okay. So this is the straightforward numerical for summit curve. Okay. Has anyone cross-checked this value? You can just type it in the chat box whether this value is correct or not. 29.15. I hope you are solving the numerical side by side. Okay, just let me know whether this value is correct. 60 we have taken. So is this 29.15 correct or not? Okay, so value is also wrong. Okay, so you can take it for T. I'll just again calculate at my end just for cross checking. Yeah, it's 40.49. So what I'll do is I'll quickly just modify it 60, 40.49. The addition 82.19. This will also change. And yeah, the length it comes out to be 153.52. Anyways, I hope Amarnath, yeah, 153.5. Okay. So SSD formula, I'll just revise the steps again, go through the steps again. So SSD formula, we have used this formula. So substituting the values, speed 60 kmph, reaction time 2.5, and coefficient of longitudinal friction 0.35. Okay. So there was an error over here. So I had taken 50 by mistake. So I've calculated the correct value of SSD. It comes out to be 82.19. The procedure still remains the same. You assume it to be great or assume the length greater than SSD. You use this formula, substitute the value of stopping side distance. The correct one is 82.19, and you get a value of 153. So, anyways, you see the assumption still holds true that the length of your summit curve it is greater than your stopping side distance. So, you can adopt this value for the design itself. So the next numerical, it is, I have taken it from an IS question paper, previous year question paper. So again, it's a straightforward, though you see it's IS or asked in IS papers, but it's a straightforward one that a summit curve is formed at an intersection of 3% upgrade and 5% downgrade. Again, you have two gradients they have given, and then they are saying that there is a summit curve here. And they have given now directly that SSD is 128. So unlike the previous numerical in which we had calculated the SSD, so here you need not calculate the SSD, directly they have given the value and they have asked what is the length of summit curve. So is the process will remain same. N1 is 3%, N2 is minus 5%. You first find out the deviation angle, that is 3% minus 5%, because the 5% gradient is a down gradient having a negative sign. You get value of n in decimals as 0.08. And again, the assumption that you will make here is that capital H, height of the eye level is 1.2 and height of the object is 0.15. Okay. So with this assumption, we'll again assume that length is greater than SSD. So in that case, you just substitute the values in this formula of L is equal to ns square upon 4.4. N is the deviation angle 0.08. S they have given the stopping side distance as 128. So your value it comes out to be 297, and it is, you can round it up to 298. Okay. So obviously it's satisfying this assumption that L is greater than SSD. So you can go ahead with this value, and you have option B in your MCQ type question. So that is the answer. Okay, so it is a short numerical. I just included it so that it's not like every time you have a difficult question in your competitive exam, sometimes you have some pretty straightforward questions as well. Okay. So coming to the next numerical again. Now it is again a numerical of summit curve, but this time the data is different. They have given that you have an ascending gradient of 1 in 100. Now here, instead of giving the gradient in terms of percentage, they have given directly in terms of a fraction. So 1 in 100 is the ascending gradient. So ascending is nothing but a up gradient of 1 in 100, and it is meeting a descending gradient of 1 in 120. And you have to design the summit curve for these intersecting gradients, and speed of 80 kmph you have to take. And now here they have given the overtaking side distance of 470 meter. Now here you see the consideration is directly given that you have to consider OSD while designing the summit curve. So you will not consider the formulas related to SSD at all. You'll only consider the formulas of OSD, and that too they have given. Okay, so no need to calculate also the OSD value. So first step, you have to find out the deviation angle, capital N. So it's algebraic difference. I have just converted this fractions into decimals. So 1 by 100 is 0.01 and 1 by 120 is 0.0083. So those values I have taken here directly, and your deviation angle, it comes out to be 0.0183. Speed you have been given 80 kmph, OSD is 470 meter. And again, the assumption that you will need is, now in case of OSD, if you remember the formula of summit curve, whatever is the capital H, that is equal to small h, because we are using the same formula of SSD. The only difference is the small h is nothing but the vehicle coming from opposite direction, and that also has a driver whose eye level we consider as 1.2 meters. So you will only need the value of capital H. So again, so here it will be assuming length of summit curve greater than OSD. So now the formula, you see it has changed. Previously for SSD we had ns square upon 4.4, but for OSD it's ns square upon 9.6, because the value of H we consider as 1.2 in this case. So simply substituting the values, you know the deviation angle, you know the OSD. So the length comes out to be 421. Now here you see our assumption was that length of your summit curve, it will be greater than OSD. But now here clearly it is not the case. Length is 421, whereas the OSD value, it is 470. Okay, so our assumption has failed. So you can't take this value for design purpose. Now you have to go for the second assumption. Then length of summit curve, it is less than SSD. Sorry, less than OSD. Okay. So for that you have this formula, L is equal to 2s minus 9.6 upon n, and again substituting the values, s, the values remain the same, values of OSD and deviation angle. So you get length is equal to 415.4 meter, and now this value is, it is less than your OSD value of 470. Okay. So this assumption is true, that length of summit curve is less than OSD as per the assumption, and therefore you can accept this length as your design length. Again, a pretty straightforward numerical. Now only change in this was the assumptions, that till now whatever numerical we solved, whatever was our first assumption, it was holding true. So we stopped over there, but here the first assumption was not holding true. So we went on to the second assumption, that length is less than OSD. So this is another variation that you can have in case of numericals of vertical curves. And last numerical for today, we will consider a valley curve. So a valley curve is formed by a descending gradient of 1 in 25 meeting an ascending gradient of 1 in 30. So now we have to design a valley curve for this situation. And they have specifically mentioned that you have to fulfill both the criteria, that comfort criterion, that is you have to design that valley curve as a transition curve, and as well as the second criteria, that is the headlight side distance. Okay. And design speed they have given 80 kmph, and the rate of change of centrifugal acceleration that you need for the transition curve, or designing the valley curve as a transition curve, is 0.6 meter per second square per second, or 0.6 meter per second cube. So again, starting with the given values, you have the gradient values. N1, in this case, now the N1 is negative, that is 1 by 25, and N2 is positive, 1 by 30. You just convert it to the decimal. So 1 by 25 is nothing but 0.04, and 1 by 30 is nothing but 0.033. So using the same values, find out deviation angle. It comes out to be 0.073. It's the algebraic difference. Now here you see, you can note this, that though we are saying that we are taking the algebraic difference, but now the n value, we are not considering the negative sign, okay, because we are only interested in the magnitude of that angle, okay, not the direction, because if you take that negative sign, your length will be negative, which is not possible. So you have to only take the magnitude or the value ignoring the negative sign, but while doing the operation of algebraic difference, you have to consider that negative sign. So that's the only place where you can go wrong, okay, that assuming the negative value or not considering the negative value in the angle calculation. So another given thing, you have the design speed given, you have the design speed which we are converting in meter per second. So 80 kmph, it is nothing but 22.2 meter per second, and C value, rate of change of centrifugal acceleration, it's 0.6 meter per second cube. And again, you will need some assumptions. Assumptions will be the average height of headlight, it is 0.75 meter, and angle of headlight is 1 degree. Okay. Now again, this is the standard one that we had seen in theory. If you wish, you can use some other values, like you can use here 1 meter, or you can use here 2 degree also, but it should be a bit deviation from the average value. It's not like you can use the angle of headlight beam as 10 degree and average height of headlight as suppose 4 meter. So these are unrealistic value. You cannot have a headlight at 4 meter from the ground level, and it is the upper beam is at 10 degrees, so that will not be a feasible value. So you can assume any value which is around this average value. So 0.75 is the average height of headlight. So around that you can have either 0.5 or 1 meter or anything like that. Okay. Same with the angle of headlight beam. Okay. So here I have assumed 0.75 meter and 1 degree. You can assume some other values also like this, okay, but a suitable one. Now coming to the formula. So you know that we design valley curve from two considerations. First one is we design it as a transition curve because we want a smooth change or smooth transition between the down gradient and up gradient. So that's why we design it for that comfort condition. And the second, we design it for the headlight side distance consideration. Okay, so starting with the first one, that length of valley curve for comfort condition. So this is the formula we know. L is equal to twice nv cube upon c raised to 1/2. So we know all the values, just substituting it. N value is 0.073. V value here we have is meter per second, so that's why I converted into meter per second in the previous slide. So it's 22.2. C value they have given 0.6. Now generally C value, if they don't give, then too you can consider this 0.6, because again that's a standard value that we assume in Indian conditions. Okay. So you also might remember that value. So from that length, it works out to be 72.97. So here you don't have any comparison to do whether it's greater than or less than anything. So it's simply as per the assuming that your valley curve is designed as a transition curve, you get length is 72.97. Now the second consideration is length of valley curve for headlight side distance. So now here we have to assume the two things, that either it is greater than the side distance or less than side distance. Okay. I have written here stopping side distance because headlight side distance is nothing but the stopping side distance in case of a valley curve and the night conditions that we had seen. So for that we have this formula, ns square upon 1.5 plus 0.035 s. Again this formula came because I had assumed the values of 0.75 meter, the h value, and the alpha value I had assumed as 1 degree. So tan alpha, it comes out to be 0.035. Okay. And here you have 2h. If you recall the formula, it's ns square upon 2h plus s tan alpha, 2s tan alpha, I guess. So I have directly substituted the values and taken this formula. If you don't, or if you are using some another values of h and alpha, then you cannot use this formula. You have to go back to the basic formula of L is equal to n square upon 2h plus 2s tan alpha. Okay. So now in this, we don't know this s values till now. What is the side distance? So for that, again, on the right side, I've just shown a two-step calculation that side distance. Now this formula is pretty much acquainted to you, or you are pretty much acquainted to this formula. SSD is equal to 0.278 Vt plus V square upon 254 F. Substitute the values. I have not shown the step of substitution, but you have to. That V is 80 kmph, T is 2.5, and F is 0.35. SSD comes out to be 127.3. And then substituting the values in this equation, you get length of valley curve as 198.64. And now again you have to compare it with the SSD. So yes, it is greater than the SSD. So whatever is the assumption that we have started with, that is length of valley curve, it is greater than your SSD. So that is true. So we can go ahead with the design. So this length 198 meter, you can assume it. Okay. Now comes the stage where you have to compare, or you have to choose between these two values. Either you have to take the value of 72.97 or 198. So obviously we go for the highest amongst the two. Okay. So highest amongst the two is 198. So you can just round it off to 200 meters. So this is the length of your valley curve. Okay. So that's all with this numerical. And that's all for today, and that's all with the vertical alignment as such. So you see there is not much variation that you can really have in the vertical curve. Okay. Vertical curves, if you see the numericals, the hard numericals or the difficult tedious numericals in case of vertical curves, they are the ones in which you have the concept of this transportation engineering as well as the concept of surveying. So you have combination of both, that you have been given a valley curve or a summit curve, but then they have included the RLs also in it, reduced level. So the reduced level of 0.8 or tangent point is this, reduced level of tangent point second one is this, and then you have to find out the RL of your summit or the lowest point of your valley curve. So that can be the most tedious type of numerical that you can have, which is combination of your transportation plus surveying. So I have skipped it here because again, I will have to rely that you know the concepts of your surveying, or you have to revise that. So that I leave it to you. Once you understand this, the concept of vertical curves in transportation, and you revise your concepts of surveying, then you can easily solve the numericals. Okay.